Hi, I'm Kathy Mills from Short Film Edits, and I'm here with Grant Garcia for an interview today. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Could we start this with you telling us a little bit about you?
Yeah, I grew up kind of all over the country. This is the seventh state I have now lived in. But I say I'm from Texas. That's where I went to middle school and high school, and where I eventually fell in love with the arts and acting, and then moved out here for school and graduated almost 2 years ago now. And now, yeah, enjoying living in LA.
Nice. Okay, so you began acting in high school. When was the moment you chose to pursue it more seriously?
I would say that would probably be my sophomore year of high school. So my sophomore year of high school, that was when I actually decided to pivot halfway through the year from playing basketball. I played basketball for pretty much all my life. I was in Noises Off. I played Frederick in Noises Off, which is a play. It's a comedy play. And then after that production, I just kind of fell in love with it. I really started not just in like enjoying it, but really like enjoying working on it, which I think is the thing that when you come from sports, it's easy to like fall out of love with it because you practice so hard so often. And it was the thing that I was like, I enjoy working at this so hard all the time. And that like kind of made it click that maybe this is the thing that I should pursue.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you enjoyed sports still as well.
Yes, it's just kind of funny because I find in a lot of my friends that like I not only like play a lot of sports, I watch a ton. I am a diehard Cowboys, Texas Longhorn fan, and
Yeah.
I watch a lot of football, basketball, hockey, and baseball. Um, which is funny because a lot of my friends, they just could not care less about anything like that. So sometimes it's a
Yeah.
little hard to find some people to, play a pickup basketball game with, but I still try to play as many as I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. You have done a bit of everything. So from writing, directing, producing, and acting, what inspired you to create your own projects?
So at the end of my sophomore year, I had been asked to help out one of my like friends in one of the film classes that we had at my high school. And it was the first time that I had like made a movie. And I think that was the thing that really like clicked and because I had been slightly interested in music, like not a ton, but a little bit, and loved acting. And then as soon as I got into like helping out on that first film, I realized I was like, this is the thing that like I can combine everything into kind of one piece. And so then from there, I mean, filmmaking was actually my main focus, I would say, for most of my life until I went into college, because I actually applied to way more film schools and really was like down to choosing between going to Cal Arts for acting or USC. And so that was a really big decision, but I kind of trusted that I wanted to just kind of make my own movies, and that's why I decided to choose acting for Cal Arts. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I there's nothing like being behind the camera. My like favorite thing is being able to write like when I sit down and you write a script and you know it's like okay, this is actually like really going to resonate. And and then finally like going to the camera and then to the editing room, because I also like to edit and color grade all my own films. Uh I don't know, there's like this like there's nothing more fulfilling than seeing that finished product.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more of a person that likes being behind the camera, but I can see how fulfilling it would be from like starting at writing and then finishing it in the editing room and just like that
Yeah.
whole process would be,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be really great. Okay, you've performed across a wide range of theaters in LA. Which theaters taught you the most? The small, intimate ones or the larger scale ones?
Huh. I would actually probably say the small, intimate ones. I don't know. I
Mm,
think there's something so beautiful. Like, I love performing in a big proscenium theater, but there's something about performing a play for, I don't know, like 25 to 40 people. There's
mm,
something about like knowing that this is to just a small collective of people and they can see every single bit of your acting. I don't know, there's something that I just really, really love about it. And especially less not this past summer, but the summer before that, I did a play called Sunken by my good friend Skylar Shen. And that was probably one of my favorite pieces I've performed in a long while. Just because I loved how I mean there's like probably like the like pinnacle I would say of the climax monologue that my character has. I'm having to say that in like I'm maybe 8 inches away from the nearest audience member. And so that was a really cool experience and being able to be able to go all around LA, but go from, large theaters, but then to like be like so close to the audience member that like if they like reached out, they could touch me.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool. Is there something in that you need in film that theatre could never have taught you?
Yes. I think the thing that I learned in film is uh, I love cinematography. Cinematography is one of probably the hardest things I've ever tried to learn. But I would say that has got me a way to think about when I write, even when I'm directing a play, in directing side of just like composition and how to like create vignettes, like how when I was directing my original play, the Lemming Effect. It's the first play that I had directed after, spending now almost like 8, 9 years filmmaking and trying to perfect all of that craft. And so it was, I got onto the stage and it just let me look at the stage in a completely different way where I was like, oh, I can like set up and block this play to like create almost these like film art compositions on stage, which it was the first time I'd really thought about the stage as like an image that I would have on my monitor when I'm shooting a movie. And so being able to like create that and use the entire stage from, all the way up to the front to like high up all the way in the back and creating almost this like depth perspective shot composition. That was something that was like, I don't think I ever would have got that if I hadn't been a filmmaker.
That's interesting. I know that there's a lot of difference, sorry, my throat. I know that there's a lot of difference between film and theatre. Which one do you think teaches you the most as a performer? Theatre or film?
Huh. That is because they just teach you such different things. I would say probably teaches you the most, in my opinion, probably would be theater, solely for the fact that in film, you spend so much time like prepping for one thing and then immediately you move on to the next one and that's done, it's gone forever. Whereas theater, you have such a strong rehearsal process. You get to spend so much time like trying and failing to get to somewhere that you like. And in film, it's kind of like you do that on your own and then you show up and you have about 4 or 5 tries and you need to get that one
Mm,
good.
yeah.
So I've definitely found that theater is, if I'm like in a place where I'm trying to learn something, like I find that theater is a lot easier and it makes me feel a lot more comfortable to like sit and learn. And film is like, I need to be at the top of my game all the time.
And I guess with theatre, because normally you do it more than just once. So,
Hmm.
like, most of the time you can get them for like 6 weeks or whatever. So you have more time to perfect it the more
Yeah.
you go along. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, how do you absorb influence without losing your own voice as a performer?
Oh. Um, this is something that I really tried to work hard on towards my later years of high school and early years of college was like learning how to take criticism. Because if I can't take it, I'm never gonna like improve as a writer, director, as an actor. Anyway, and how
Mm.
can I interpret people's criticism, even if it's like opinion or a suggestion or anything like that? And the thing that I kind of found that really helps me be able to still keep my internal perspective of what I'm doing and how I'm approaching the performance of a character. And if I hear somebody's opinion or suggestion about maybe saying a line a different way or saying or doing something different with with like the way I'm presenting the character, I try to think of it as, I ask another one, I'm like, well, what did you feel was missing? instead of just being like, here's what I think that should be in here. I'll try to find out, well, what do you think was missing? If they're like, oh, well, I just felt like I wanted a little bit more time at, like during this moment, or I kind of felt like this was just like feeling a little bit too rehearsed. And then once I get like kind of that note, that's something that I can really like actually take in and think about. Maybe what their suggestion is like the perfect answer, but maybe it's not, but I can at least like start to pinpoint where they're feeling something might be missing, because that is something I think like in all of our work, like that's probably going to be a share note from a lot of people rather than being
Mm.
like, I think you should change this specific thing. It's
Yeah.
probably they wanted something in general that they wasn't feeling right and just kind of searching for what that is.
Mm. I guess there's a big difference between constructive criticism to just plain out criticism as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
you gotta learn how to decipher between the two.
yes, definitely. And constructive criticism can be a good thing because you may
Mhm.
have not even thought about what they're saying, and you can go, okay, well, actually, that's a really good idea, and I can take that in. I think everybody struggles to take in criticism well most of the time, but to be able to do that maturely is good. So,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even like being in the vertical sphere, I mean, there was especially like starting out, you have a lot of people that like hate it. You have so
mm,
many people that love it and you have so many people that hate it, and you have to find, what is it that I love about it? Well, and you kind of find that, and you find, how to kind of latch onto that stuff.
yeah, and everything has a different audience. Like theatre has a
Hmm.
completely different audience to film. Some enjoy both. I enjoy both, but some just
Yeah.
don't. Um,
Yeah.
so there's there's differences definitely. But I also think taking the criticism from somebody who actually knows what they're talking about is also very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, you're actively writing as well as acting. What stories are you feeling most compelled to tell right now?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to figure out what I can actually say about this. This might have to be like a TBD.
Mhm.
um, Purely just because of current stuff in progress. So,
Okay.
yeah, so that might have to be a TBD. I think the only thing I could say is very, very much in like bringing a project to Los Angeles, and so that's like, yeah, I might have to kind of wiggle around that one.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Does writing change the way you approach acting or vice versa?
Yes, very much so. So the class that I think I took that like just really changed the way I think about acting was I took an improv class with Dwayne Colbert and in my third year at CalArts. And he approached the improv class as a writing class. That's how he approached it. He approached it as like, let's approach this as a writing tool. And there was a lot of things that I learned in there, but it made me an exponentially better writer. I left that class being like, I have like maybe like one or two movies that like I have an idea of what to write to. I left that class and like 2 years later have like, over 10 complete treatments done and ready to go. But what it did as far as for me acting wise is it got me to be able to like consistently write dialogue, consistently writing dialogue that I felt was natural. And then it made me just realize, oh, that's how I talk. And then I
Yeah.
kind of, when I take a script, if I get a script in my hand and I can now read these lines, I'm like, I know exactly if I were writing this, what I would write to make this feel as the most natural and like the most powerful performance I could do. And so now
Mm.
I feel like I could take any script and be like, okay, I could turn this into something that would feel completely at home in my voice,
Yeah.
which is something I think is like really, I mean, that was a big challenge. I mean, trying to learn like, okay, I don't have this pattern of speech. You get a script for a play, movie, or anything like that. You're like, I don't. This is like some stuff. You're like, oh, I really resonate with this character. I mean, they almost like talk the same way I do. That's like how I approach a lot of character too. Is I'm like, if it sounds natural, if it sounds like I'm listening to it, and it just sounds like I'm listening to somebody talk or watch a movie, then I can kind of like build all the performance out of that. Because if it doesn't sound right, it's just like in movies, if you hear like a white
Mm.
noise change, or when you're watching like a student film or anything, that you hear a white noise change, you hear audio that doesn't sound right, just like can take you out instantly. So I always approach things kind of like that, and that's where a lot of that writing really came into is being able to know what dialogue I enjoy and I enjoy saying, and like kind of how to mesh that into what the script I'm given.
Yeah, and I think writing is like the major part of the storyline, not just obvious
Hmm.
for obvious reasons, but you can take, even not such great actors or, just, becoming actors, but if the script is good, it can make the entire story, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, if you have a good script, I mean, I don't know. I firmly believe that a good script will go anywhere. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
obviously you want to have like good actors and like a good production, but
Mm.
a good script will always find a way. And it's really hard to make a bad script good.
Hmm.
But like it- people love reading, watching, hearing good stories. It's what
Yeah.
sells. It's what people love to see. And I always believe that.
Yeah. I mean, I know that some people try to make, let's say, a not so good script better, but it depends on how much creative freedom you get to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you were mentioning something taking you out of something, it's continuity that does that for me. If the
Yeah.
continuity isn't right, it takes me right out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a big one. I mean, it can just like ruin the entire world that you like are sucked into. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. What do you want people to take away after experiencing your work, either on stage or screen?
I think the biggest thing that I want people to take away is just that at least for like a moment, you were able to just not be aware of what you're watching, not be aware that you're in a seat, watching something or you're thinking about something else, but that you're just invested into exactly what's happening on screen and go through some kind of emotion, like some kind of emotions, because and you can be easy to go throughout the day and you just kind of like go through your emotional path as like, a little line. And so it'd be nice if you can just like, feel something different, whether it's sad, happy, joyful, and just kind of get lost for a second.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, I think we touched on this a little bit earlier, but there might be another one. Was there a specific exercise, class, or mentor at Cal Arts that fundamentally changed the way like your performances?
Yeah, again, like the one that I did like just like really changed me as an artist was the improv class.
Yeah.
Um, and then I would say the second one, this wasn't as much of like um, a class where you get in and you work on curriculum and you're breaking it down and all of that. But I would say the other class that like really shifted how kind of I was thinking about acting was my showcase. So at the end of the year, our senior year, we get to do showcase. That's our like entire senior year, like the
Mm.
bulk of our acting curriculum is geared towards that showcase. And the thing about showcase is it's the first time you basically get 8 to 9 months, and especially the first 4 months, where you go in and you bring material that you want to play.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not, bringing have like certain parameters for stuff to work on it. There's nothing like that. You literally just like you find a scene that you resonate with and you're like, I want to play that character. I want to be in that role. And that was something that was it was really cool to be like understand, it was the first time I'd really thought of like actually been able to like get on my feet and see if this worked. I'm like, do I think this is a good character for me? I think so, but I don't know actually. And so I think it helped me like really actually learn like what is a good character for me. And at least right now, I
Mm.
obviously think you can like, a great actor can mold into different things, but it's good to know, especially
Mm.
when you're like getting into the industry, what can be good. And it was one of the most enjoyable experiences, I would say, and just being able to you get up because the way the class is structured, so you go in, you show up in class, and it's like you literally for 3 hours, everybody just goes up and you go, okay, I have this scene. Go up, yeah, it's like a 3 minute scene. You go up, perform it, get notes, go back down. Go in, you have a different scene. You go up, perform it.
Mm.
And so you're just like running through scenes. So that was probably one of the highlights that I would have of just like being able to play all these characters that I'd love to play.
Mm. So they're like, so with the different scenes that you did, they weren't all the same character, they were different characters?
Yeah, they were completely like you go through a wide range of characters, scenes from plays, TV shows, movies, yeah,
That's
everything in
cool.
between. Yeah.
Yeah. It shows your acting ability to be
Yeah.
able to do that too. Yeah. Well, that's cool. All right. What makes you feel safest as an actor on set?
Mm. I would say that just like I think the biggest thing that I feel whenever I'm on set that just makes me feel like, oh, okay, yeah, this is a great set,
Mm,
is when it's just showing up and like, like having smile and like being okay to laugh.
mm,
Like we're obviously everybody there is there to work, everybody there is to be professional, but being okay to like have a joke occasionally and laugh and just being able to like when something goes wrong not to, find the first person to blame. That's the biggest
mm,
thing is like I've been on sets where I found like something goes wrong and then they immediately like look for it to be like, well, gosh, I can't believe it's that person's fault. And it's like, I mean, it's okay,
yeah.
eventually some I'm gonna make a mistake on set, you're gonna make a mistake on set someday. It's
Yeah.
just like, is it gonna ruin the production? No. Have we already probably figured out a solution? Yeah. Let's move on. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know,
And you're
those are the
only
things that
human.
help me feel safe. Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody makes mistakes. You just got
Yeah.
to find a way to fix it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Um, what qualities do you value most in people you choose to work with closely?
Mm. I would say the biggest one, and this is kind of me thinking whenever I'm in a kind of a director role,
Mhm.
is people's trust in their own abilities and intuition. I've worked with people that like just get really, really excited to be on the production. I mean, I've done this many times where, like if the director says something, even if I don't even know if it's the right, if it's the thing that I would like necessarily think is the right choice, you just nod your head, say okay, and you keep going. Like I always find myself, especially when I'm in like kind of a director role, I want to work with people that like, if I'm like, hey, I think the shot should be kind of like framed this way, like, and you like disagree, I want to hear like what you disagree. I think people trusting in their talents and intuition and kind of like it makes a director's job a lot easier because I know that you're always thinking about what this can be the best it can be. Whether that's from costume to set design or anything. I know that you're consciously aware of what the like best it can be. And that I think the collective will always make a better product than just like something from my brain that, that's the only contributing factor.
It must be hard, like knowing all the different angles of like, the directing and stuff and being able to just sit there and not be able to change things. Sometimes be like when you said, you know that it could be better, but you're not in
Hmm.
that position to change it. That must be
Yeah.
difficult to have all those. That's probably a negative there. Like that's you don't get rid of negatives from knowing all these things, but that could be a bit of challenging
Yeah,
sometimes.
that's true. That's definitely like it has come into like more of a factor, I would say, like as now I'm like becoming, a professional actor and working on sets more often. Um, because when I became a director, I was like the one thing I wanted to do as a director is I wanted to be able to go to every single person on my team, and if they have a question or they wanted to bounce an idea off, I need to be able to be like proficient enough in the skill to be able to contribute
Mm,
and understand what they're saying and either lead them in the right way or if if God forbid somebody didn't have to like it ended up not being able to be there, I could pick something up and do it. So it very much led to me like learning very intricately like cinematography, editing, color grading, sound composing, the music, writing, all of that, and acting. And so it does lead to
mm,
sometimes on set, just gotta, especially when it's, and just in that, you're just an actor, and so you try not to intervene too much in the crew.
yeah. So out of all of those skills, which one do you prefer most? Which one gives you the most enjoyment?
Such a hard question.
I know.
Um, uh, I would probably say. I would probably say in the moment it's acting. Like I think I
Mm,
enjoy when I'm on set, I enjoy acting the most. That's the thing I
yeah.
enjoy the most doing. Um, That's not to say I don't love the other things. I think it's just like,
Mm,
especially when I'm working crew, you just get into like this like such locked in flow state that it's like I don't even like I'm like aware it's happening until it's like I blink and like we're wrapped and
mm,
I'm in the editing room and then it's just like you're just kind of locked in a different way. So that one, the enjoyment definitely comes from like you like blink and you breathe and then you see the finished product. But for I would say in the moment and most often it's probably acting.
mm. And which part do you find the most challenging?
Oh, most challenging. Probably gaffing. Lighting is so hard.
Mm,
It is it's so difficult being able to like get great lighting. It's just the hardest in my head to like really just like intuitively if I like was just like to like close my eyes and try to think of like, okay, how am I gonna like light and set up this room? It's the hardest for me to like visualize and create an entire like lighting chart from that. So I would say it's definitely the hardest thing in my opinion. And it's so important. I mean, I think like composition is so great, so important, but if it's lit terribly, it's really hard to have it have the same effect. It's yeah, good lighting's really hard to do.
I agree. I think it really matters. I've just been watching a show called Heated Rivalry. It's massive at the
Oh,
moment.
okay, yeah.
Love Heated Rivalry. But the lighting in that show is pristine.
Yeah.
Just from like it's not only the location of the light, it's the color grading and everything. It's really
Yeah.
important and it goes
And
to
it
show in
takes
that one.
a long time to set up. Lighting is something that
Mhm.
takes hours to be able to light like a great shot.
Yeah, I've done some night shoots before, but behind the camera, and it's
Yeah.
so much more difficult than just shooting during the day when you've got natural lighting and
You're just shaping the sun. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. But even that can be difficult because you got to make sure that you're not like, right in the sun, and there's all like
Exactly.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's technical. Yeah. Okay. What are some challenges you face on set that others outside the field might not recognize?
Hmm. Definitely just the hours. The hours can be so long. And I think, when you're not an actor or you're not on crew and you're watching something and you might be like how hard it is to be able to be like there and giving your best performance and so focused and giving the same energy when you like it's like 6 in the morning and then you've been there and now it's like 6 p.m., 8 p.m.
Mm,
And so like that can be really tough being able to give like a great performance consistently for the entire project when you're working just such like the hours can really start to take a toll, especially when you get to like halfway through a project or two-thirds of the way through.
Especially on the ones that take longer to shoot. I know some of
Mhm.
them are quite short, but some of them can be longer.
So
And,
it can take a
you
while.
know, sometimes,
That,
especially if you run overtime, you've only got a couple of hours before you have to be back again. So that
mhm.
can be rough.
Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
Okay. What is the most valuable lesson you've learned from working in the industry?
Um, to just be kind and just like never make an assumption about anybody. Like
Mm,
never, you could have, the person who's going and running in a car and going and grabbing lunch. You have no idea what they're working on. Everybody in this industry is always working on something cool. And so if they're there, they're doing something. And that's so much to say. And so just be super nice and never assume anything about anybody.
don't
Mhm.
be judgmental. It's a big one.
Yeah.
All right. Um, how do you make similar roles feel unique?
Mm, that's a good question. I think it's always in just the scenario. I try not to. I used to approach like a lot of characters and think about like, build the whole backstory and get like super super detailed and all of that. But I find that sometimes it doesn't help me nearly as much as just spending more time and just kind of like looking at the scene. This is something I really enjoyed with like Don't Miss Me When I'm Gone.
Mm,
Was in that. Just kind of like because the scenes can sometimes, like, and Don't Miss Me When I'm Gone, it sometimes feels like we're like kind of going through similar plot point. in some of the scenes. And so it's like, how do we make these feel unique? How do we make the stakes feel different in this scene?
Mm.
Um, and so that was something I was just like, what is okay, so I know the script and what is like the new information in the scene. I mean, we always react differently to new information. We sometimes, and so it's just kind of finding like, okay, what is this new information like if I were walking into this room, and I've just been having a normal quote unquote day, like what would that do to me? And I think
Mm.
that's the thing that can feel different because, like, some characters can be like, say they're both bullies, right? They're both like bully
Mm.
characters, but I think like however they're written, they're probably not written the same in how they're going to react to, being told off or in the reason that they're doing it or in how they're reacting to like seeing someone be hurt. And so you can find slight things in that and like how they react would be very, very different.
Yeah. I mean, don't miss me when I'm gone to Taming My Bullies, like two completely different,
Very different characters, yeah.
very different characters. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What does a good day on set look like for you?
A good lunch. Love a good lunch.
That's common answer.
Good crafting, good lunch gets everybody's mood just like through the roof.
Mm.
Yeah, good lunch and making good time. Those are the two things, and when you're on set that are just irreplaceable, especially being on time. It's
Mm.
when you're like on schedule, it's like everybody's walking on clouds.
Yeah. How do you think that you can help to make that work?
Um, hmm. I don't know. I think it's just always be prepared. Be as
Mm.
prepared as you can be, so that when they say action, you're ready to go. You're not, just like haven't procrastinated or anything like that. You're just completely ready to go as soon as they say action. It's the best way you can keep things going on schedule. And that's for like actors to everybody. If everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing and knows what everybody else is supposed to be doing, I think that's a good thing to know, is especially for like, actors when they get on set. It's like know what everybody on the crew is doing too. That can help
Mm.
you, not be in the way if they're like trying to switch a light. Know that like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be talking to this person because they're about to like they're one of the camera ops and we're about to go to their camera. And so
Yeah.
you could be able to like know how the set runs, know what everyone's doing and be prepared.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really beneficial to know a little bit about how everything works on set, as that would be a strength for you, just so that this person has to be this, they have to do that. They're going to be
Hmm.
there and they have to do that's a strength that you would have to be like, okay, so I understand what they're doing. So that way it's a little bit easier for you to just go, okay, I need to leave them, as to
Yeah.
someone who doesn't understand every part of the set.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. If you had the power to change something in the vertical space, what would it be and why?
Hmm. I think probably the biggest thing and the thing that like sometimes drives me a little insane is seeing a trope of like seeing like guys and men do some pretty terrible things to women, but then still be
Mm.
like the main love interest. That's something that like I do wish we could like kind of fade away just a little bit from. Just
Mm.
because it's like, I don't know, I feel like the level of consequences right now compared to like the male characters to the female characters is like drastically different.
Yeah.
Uh, so that would be the thing that I would probably want to like to see adjusted the most.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, obviously, we don't like all the violence and things like that, but I think that if you're going to be a bully, just be a bully through the whole thing. We don't want to see you treat someone so badly and then they just be like, oh, it's okay, I'll take you back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. Okay. Is there certain roles you feel less confident doing?
Hmm. I don't know. I I think I've spent so much time in the past couple years doing so much just like film acting and especially like in a little bit of like a dramatic field. I think like doing like character bit acting for like sketch comedy is something that um I definitely have to like get my feet back into. I haven't done that in forever.
Mm,
But that's something that I would say, I just haven't done it in a while, so I don't know if
mm,
it scares me as much as it's just like I'd have to really work at it again before I'd actually put something up in as
yeah.
like a bit
Like
character or
build
something
up the
like that.
confidence again.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. Okay. What do you think makes a performance unforgettable?
Mm. I think the thing when I'm just watching movies or TV shows when I'm watching it is I think the thing that like I actually tune in so much, it's less about even like how a character like delivers the line or a monologue. I think the thing that always makes me like, gosh, that was such a good performance, is whenever like a character gets like where a character's like listening. You watch like a main character and they get like devastating news or they find out like the reveal or something like that and seeing how they react to that. Because I think that's like when somebody's reacting to that and they're like just like on it and like it looks so real, that's when you're like, because those are the moments. It's less like when a character's talking, it's hard for you to like be like actively like like it's not like hard, but I wouldn't say it's like you're not as tuned in as when a character is just like silent and feeling something. That's
Hmm.
when I feel like I'm watching, I'm like, dang, I'm feeling that too.
Yeah,
So I think that's the thing is like how do you process like like emotions and how do you come to a decision of like what you're gonna say? And
yeah.
when that's good, it's beautiful to watch.
And there's so many shows that rely on people picking up subtle emotions that,
Hmm.
if you're paying attention, you can really, really see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you can answer this question because of the writing thing, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If you could star in a vertical that you would class as your perfect storyline, what would it be?
Okay, I think I can answer this.
Okay.
Um, um, Gosh, if I could start a vertical, I think I'd want to be in a basketball vertical. I really want to do that. I really want to be in a football or basketball vertical. I have yet to be in a production and like actually use any of my like athletic or sports background.
Hmm.
Uh, so that's something I really, really enjoy doing is
Hmm.
to kind of be able to like utilize. I mean, I spent 13 years playing basketball, and so be able to actually like utilize all of that would be great.
Would be very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been saying a few times now that it would be good if we could have verticals that allow people to touch on their natural talents rather than,
Mhm.
there's so many actors who have all these natural talents. It'd be good to see them on screen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. I have two more questions. If you could swap roles with any character you've played for a day just for fun, who would it be?
Mm. In like any project.
A new project.
Okay, let's see. What am I watching? That's gonna be like the biggest question. I'm like, what am I watching right now that would have made me want to like switch roles with somebody? Um, I mean, I really enjoyed Marty Supreme. I really enjoyed that. That looked like such a fun role to play. And just like the chaos of that movie. That would have been like just a blast.
Mm.
Trying to think of like TV shows though that I'm watching of like characters in TV shows that I would just like adore to play. I guess this one isn't a TV show right now, but one of my favorite like TV shows and series of all time is Attack on Titan, and so I'd love to be any character in that show.
Yeah.
I'd love to be any character in that, and actually, this is a good answer. So I'm reading
Mhm.
a book series right now. I'm reading the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, and there's a character in there that I would like adore to play. And his name's Ellen Venture. That's a character that I'm like, I'd love to play that character.
What is the character?
So Mistborn, it's a I don't want to say it's like a heist book. 'Cause the first book's kind of like a heist book, but it takes place in like a old Victorian. It's a fantasy book.
Mhm.
There's a really cool magic system, but it starts with like the like what is like the poverty class. It's like a group of like thieves and rebels ends up trying to overthrow what is like the ruling class and the ruling government. And so Ellen to play is one of the eligible bachelors who becomes like the main love interest of our main character, Vin, um, who is one of the nobles. So it's, you know, very, very different than everybody else we met in the main character group. He's the only one on the other side of that like is kind of
Mm,
like bridging that gap. And so and yeah, I'd love to play him.
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
If someone took just one idea from this conversation and applied it, what should it be?
Mm, that that's a good question. Um, I don't know. I think what I would say if you can like take anything from this is every every craft, every capacity can only make you better, can only fuel you. You know, I'm someone that, I look at every scenario and door and anything I can learn as, how can this make me better? Not as, I don't know, I don't look at it trying something new and being like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be good at it. So, you're like having tried so many new things and I played so many instruments, like at the end of the day, you're probably gonna be bad at it when you start, but it's gonna help you in some way in your life in whatever you're doing in any way possible.
Hmm.
So,
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to have this interview with me today. I really appreciate it.
of course, thank you so much for having me. I really, really enjoyed it.
No problem at all. Well, you take care and I'll talk to you again very soon.
Yeah, look forward to it.